Hi, welcome to another tutorial. This tutorial will show you how to create the Green Lantern logo using two open source pieces of software called Inkscape and GIMP. To get hold of all your tutorial resources, please go to cutcorner.co.uk and click News. I'm indicating this just in case you found this tutorial on YouTube, and scroll down to Recent News, Design Tips and Tutorials, and you should find your tutorial in the feed once it's been published. Okay, what I'm going to take you through today is the use of two pieces of software this time. In past tutorials we've done, we've only used one. Just to give you a brief introduction into some of the simple basic tools that the two pieces of software offer. This tutorial is for beginners, but as you'll see from the final result that you'll get that it still looks really decent. So we hope you enjoy the tutorial, and we'll start now. Okay, when you've actually gone to the page and found the download link to the tutorial resources, what you'll find once you've extracted it is a folder called Green Lantern Tutorial, and you will find these resources in there. You've got a final result. This is what we're hoping for at the end. So a nice textured Green Lantern logo with that kind of flat design effect that runs through from left to right. You'll also find an example or another example in squared format here that we've branded, and some final sort of resources that we've created. One which is greenlanternlogo.svg, which is the Inkscape file, and Green Lantern XCF, which is your GIMP file. What we've also attached is an overlay texture, which you will need for your Green Lantern the stages of the final tutorial for this Green Lantern logo. Okay, so what we're going to do now is begin by opening Inkscape. Okay, once you've opened up Inkscape, part of the outline of this tutorial is how to set up your document correctly so that we can work a little smarter. So I'm just going to drag this open here, and the first thing I'm going to do is just go to File and Document Properties down here, and we're just going to have tweak a few bits and pieces to make sure that we work a little easier when doing things. So if I just click Landscape, so as you'll see now the document then formats to that. I'm now going to go to my grids, and I'm going to just click New, so it adds a grid to the document. What I want you to be aware of is at the moment the spacing is a pixel wide. I'm just going to change that to 50, and you'll see the grids now start to spread out. And if I go 50 again, press enter, the actual squares now are 50 pixels apart, which is what we need. What I'm now going to do is just change the width and height of the document as well to just 1000, just so we're working with a square, because it is a logo and it will help us with our formatting a bit later on. So there we go, we've got that all sorted out. But what you'll notice from the logo is obviously it's predominantly green, so we can work very quickly to get the logo to the right colour. So a good trick is, if we just go into Google Images, I've just searched for Green Lantern logo, and if you click Search Tools, because we don't want to obviously steal people's work if they're not allowing us to do it, or I say steal or reuse other people's work if they don't want us to. If you click Search Tools, you've got a number of different things that we can play with to get the right search result, and all we're looking to do with this particular thing is get the correct green for our document. So if you just click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along, by default it should say not filtered by license. Now if you click labeled for reuse, it means that the person that's uploaded this image has said, you know what, you can reuse this again, I'm not too bothered. So what we've done is found a few Green Lantern logos that use the green that we need. So I'm just going to click on that, and this one comes from Wikipedia, and I'm just going to right click and copy. I'm going to go back to Inkscape, and this is a little trick that could be very useful for you. I'm going to right click, I'm just going to go to edit and paste, and this should bring my logo in, which it does. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so we can make it a bit smaller, just padlock it so that it doesn't warp. And all I'm going to do, just to make sure that my background is the correct green, okay, is I'm just going to create a quick square, which by default has gone light grey. I'm going to go to my colour dropper tool here, just pick from an image, and I'm going to click green. Now what that's now done is obviously changed this auto shape to the same colour of this green here. But what I need is the hex code of that green so I can apply it to my background. So I'm just going to double click on this section here down in the bottom left hand corner, and here is my hex code. So I'm just going to right click and copy. I'm going to go back to my file and document properties, and I'm just going to go to this section here that says background. What I'm going to do is replace what's there and paste in that colour, and you'll see now that the background is changed to the correct green that we need. I'm going to delete that circle so I don't need it anymore, and I'm just going to delete this one here. So now we're ready to go. Okay, we've got two more stages to go through with Inkscape before we actually publish it out of the software. And the first bit is to create that the basic shape of the Green Lantern logo. So the way I'm going to do that is just go to my Create Circles, and I am just going to, just towards the center of this particular document, I'm just going to click and drag, and because I've already used that green just a second ago, it's gone the same color as the background, so I'm just going to click white here, and that's basically the first circle. And what I'm now going to do is just create a rectangle using the square and rectangle tool here, and just place it across the top of the circle. I'm going to do exactly the same at the bottom, making sure that, as you can see, they are 3 squares high and exactly the same width as the one at the top. So I'm now just going to hold shift, and I am going to hold shift and select both the squares. I'm going to go to path and union, and that sort of sticks it together. Now what I'm going to do is just create that hole in the middle that we need. So what I'm going to do is go right click and duplicate, making sure that my padlock is set. I'm just going to change it to any colour. You can change it to whatever you like, just so that you can see the difference. I'm going to hold down shift so that it stays in one place, and I'm just going to format it, scale it so that it's to the right size. And I'm going to hold down shift again and select that back white circle, but this time I'm going to go to path, and rather than go to union, I'm going to go to difference. As you can see there, it's cut a smaller circle out of the background, which is what we need. I'm going to select all again, path and union, and that sticks it together. So that's your basic Green Lantern logo shape that we need. Now what I want to create is that kind of flat design, which is very trendy at the moment, effect. So the way I'm going to do that is use my Bezier curves tool. And all I'm going to do is just try and find as close to a right angle as possible. And as I can see, the squares are fairly big, so I can determine what's 45 degrees. So I'm going 4 across and 4 down. I'm going to go to the bottom corner, click again, and I can see that that's 3 squares above the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to go from there to there, so I know that that's 45 degrees. And I'm just going to click a few points along the top of the logo, and just pick any colour. Just select that. Okay, so select any colour here. I'll just pick red for now. And all I'm going to do is just make sure that that new shape is created, is selected. I'm just going to go to Object and lower to bottom, so that sticks it right down at the bottom. Now I'm going to need to get that green again, but before I do that, I'm just going to raise my, if you can see here at the bottom left hand corner, you can see stroke, which is black. I'm just going to right click on that and remove stroke so that it takes that black outline away from it. And I'm now going to go back to that image on Google, and I need that green again, so I'm going to just copy and paste that back in here. Okay, and selecting that red block, I'm just going to go back to my colour dropper and change it green. Now don't be too concerned, make sure it's still selected, don't be too concerned if you can't see it anymore, because what we're going to do is just make it a little bit darker by double clicking on this green panel down in the bottom left hand corner. And I'm just going to bring it down here in the green section, just make it a tiny bit darker. Get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of my grid. And now I've got pretty much the makings. Now the second part of this, it's obviously creating the flat design using your Bezier curves. We just want to add a sort of clever effect to it by going to your gradients tool here. So all I'm going to do is just click on the gradients tool, making sure that that dark green shape is selected. I'm going to hold down in approximate middle of the drawing, and I'm just going to pull down towards the bottom right hand corner, and that then leaves us with that kind of gradiented effect. Now I'm just going to go to filters here, shadows and glows, and drop shadow, making sure it's blur radius 2, horizontal offset 2, vertical offset 2, and click apply. And that, as you'll see, if I click off, has now added a very faint shadow over the logo. What I now need to do is go File, Export Bitmap. I'm making sure my resolution is at 150 so it's nice and crisp. Go to Browse, stick it on the desktop. I'm going to title it Logo, hit Save, and Export. And that is the first part of this tutorial. And we're now going to move into GIMP and just finish it all off. Okay, you've exported your logo at this point, and if I just preview it, that's just what it looks like. It looks just a little bit too clean for my liking, so I want to kind of dress it up a bit with a texture. So I'm just going to right click on the logo and I'm going to open it with GIMP. And this is the second sort of piece of open source software we're going to play with today. So now, at this moment in time, I need to size this interface down so I can see both the layers and tools. What I'm now going to do is just add that texture, which is really simple. So I'm just going to open up the Green Lantern tutorial. I'm going to go to my overlay texture that I've picked. Again, is labeled for reuse on Google, so don't be too concerned if anyone's going to get angry about you using this. And I'm just going to click and drag and drop it over the logo. Close that because I don't need the file anymore. And all I'm going to do is, now that this overlay texture is selected, I'm just going to choose a different effect for it. Give it an overlay. As you can see, it's now added that sort of texture effect, but still a little bit too heavy because we can't really see that gradient. So I'm just going to drop that from 100 to 80. Okay, maybe even a little bit more, to be honest. And there you go. Now, we're going to save it as a JPEG image. So I'm just going to go to File, and I am going to export it as a JPEG, so making sure that I'm selected to my desktop, and I'm going to scroll down, find JPEG, and I want quality to be 90, and then I'm just going to click Export. Now, if I go to the side here, move this out of the way, click logo.jpg, and there is my textured Green Lantern logo. Okay, as a final thought, thanks very much for watching this tutorial, and I hope you got the most out of it to generate a really nice logo. Just wanted to mention, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you found us on YouTube, and if you found us through Google, make sure that you subscribe to our posts, because we're always posting out little tips and tricks all the time, so you can stay up to date, and hopefully you'll be watching us again. Thank you.